Hi, my name is Aya. You're watching Aya Reads, and I'm here to start my reading vlog of Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. So this is her newest release, and since she's bound to show up in the Goodreads romance category and probably win that category, I always make sure to read her books when they come out. So I actually already started it. I'm on chapter 14. So I actually got the large print edition because that was the only one available before release date. So I got this one. So technically I'm on page 182, but I know I'm not on that page considering it's large print. So it's actually, because the normal book has like around 300 pages and this one has 500 pages. Anyway, this book, you follow Alice, and this is single point of view. She got in contact with this mysterious, reclusive, tragic heiress, former tabloid princess, Margaret Ives. And she wants to write her biography. So Alice is a journalist. She's been writing these like op-eds about people, but her dream is to write an actual biography about somebody. So when she gets there to meet Margaret and, discuss how they should go about writing the biography, she realizes that she's not the only one Margaret has invited. She also has invited Pulitzer Prize winning author Hayden Anderson, who got famous and won his Pulitzer Prize for writing a very good biography about another famous person. In fact, it is the biography that Alice really, really loves. So that's a problem because obviously he already has the accolades and she really doesn't. So Margaret tells them that she wants to do it like a trial run. Like she'll have them both interview her for a month, and then after the month is up, she'll decide who actually gets to write the biography. So since Margaret lives in this small town, Hayden and Alice constantly run into each other and start up this friendship, and eventually that is going to turn into more. So like I said, right now I'm on chapter 14 and I'm not really into this book. This to me feels like a watered down version of The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Like it is very similar to that. It's about a journalist talking to this famous person who has been out of the spotlight for a couple decades, and the famous person talking about her life. But it's even worse because it's not even her life, it's about her family's life. And I just don't give a fuck about that. So far, this doesn't feel like a romance to me already out of the... So I'm almost halfway through. I would say like I'm 40% of the way through. I would say only 20% so far has anything to do with a romantic plot line. The rest is, it just feels like either a historical fiction or it feels like a contemporary fiction, literary fiction. This does not at all, where I'm at now, feel like a romance. These characters have no chemistry. There was one kiss scene that came out of the blue and I was like, how does that even happen? Like, where were the clues of you guys actually liking each other? Because there wasn't any. And I'm kind of bored with this book, to be honest. I do want to finish it, obviously, but honestly, if this gets nominated in the romance category and also wins the romance category, that will make me so angry because this, right now at least, it's not a romance, not at all. And I find everything that is happening so far not that interesting. So we'll have to see. Obviously, I'm not that far in yet. So I guess I'll update you once I'm further in. Right now, I don't have any concrete thoughts. Like I said, it's just about Alice meeting with Margaret, interviewing her, and then we'll get a snippet of the book of what Margaret actually told her. And so far, it's just not that interesting. Her family is this... so she's talking about her great-grandfather who was this ruthless man from a very poor family, and he wanted to do everything in his power to get rich, including screwing over best friends. And then, so that is his story. And then now, where I'm at now, we went to her grandfather's story. So the family of the Ives, they have a lot of different newspapers. Basically, her grandfather is the one that started all that. So it actually started with the great-grandfather, but the grandfather is actually the one that made all of that very big, like he made it very profitable. So he has bought a lot of newspapers and gossip papers. And actually, like I said, I just don't care about this. Also, so both of them get to interview her, but they're not allowed, since they signed an NDA, they are not allowed to discuss what they discussed with Margaret. But both of them think that she's lying to them. Sorry, there's a hair in my face. Yeah. So like I said, is this a romance? Is this a mystery? Is this a literary fiction? A historical fiction? Nobody knows. So I'm just gonna continue. Maybe I'll update you halfway through, and if not, once I finish. Yeah. This is sad, honestly, because so I haven't given every Emily Henry 5 stars, but her 2 releases before this one, I really, really loved. I gave both of them 5 stars. Funny Story and Happy Place. Both of them I gave 5 stars, and I really thought, okay, so this is going on the trajectory of Emily Henry, me understanding why so many people love her. So far, I'm not there yet. I don't think this can get there. And if I do end up enjoying it, I don't think, it doesn't feel like a romance to me, so we'll see. I have never been more bored in my life. So I'm halfway through now. What is this book? You know what? I cannot even believe I'm saying this, but anytime the couple is together, I just want to get back to the interview bits like that. And that is boring, but it's more interesting than these two together. Like, Emily, what happened, girl? Like, what actually happened? I need to finish this book tomorrow, but I kind of want to DNF it, but I also don't want to DNF it, considering this will probably make it into the, like, it's gonna win the romance category probably, which I don't understand, considering this is not a romance. It is not a romance, okay? I will go to my grave fighting for that fact. Anyway, I'm just gonna continue. You don't know how badly I want to DNF this book. Also, my lipstick is wearing off, so I look like... Let me actually... Okay, maybe this is better. Not really. But anyway, I want to DNF this book so bad, but I ain't no quitter. No, I'm just kidding. In normal circumstances, I would 100% DNF because I am bored shitless. No, listen, you don't understand how bored I am. Like, I would much rather do anything else other than read this book. But it's an Emily Henry. Her book is gonna be all over Goodreads lists that I want to do vlogs for. It's gonna be in the Goodreads Choice Awards that I want to do a vlog for. So I need to read this. Like, I just know it, and I don't want to DNF it because I want to make a well-rounded review once I inevitably give this either a 1 or a 2 star. So yeah, I know I cannot review it. Well, at least for me, I don't want to review it if I haven't actually read every single word in this book. Though I do find, and I don't remember her doing that in her other books, she gives too many unnecessary descriptions. Like, there was almost an entire page of her describing what her mother's garden looks like. I do not give a single fuck about that. So I do have to say I did skim that because that does not add anything to this book. Anyway, all I want to do is read something else, but I also want to finish this tomorrow. So, yeah. Dobby is free! Oh my god, you don't understand how happy I am that I don't have to be reading this book anymore. I ended up settling for a 2 star. I was seriously debating whether or not I should give it 1 star, but I don't think 1 star is fair because, I mean, she's still a good writer, and it didn't do anything really offensive. It was just boring, which, yeah, I guess in a way it could be considered offensive, but like something being boring could be considered offensive, but really, Not. And one thing that did save it was not the romance, not at all. But once Margaret actually started talking about her own life and her own love life and like some sort of mystery tied to the family, that is when I became intrigued. But that only happened like in the last 50 pages or so. That is when, no, yeah, so that is when this book became a little bit interesting in the last 60 pages or so, when I was like, okay, something is happening, and I wanted, like, there was this mystery that I wanted to figure out, which I did guess, but I wasn't 100% correct about that. So that is really what made me give this 2 star, because it wasn't the romance. Like, at one point, especially when the mystery thing took off, whenever we got to the romance, I just wanted her to get back to the Margaret plotline, which is obviously not normally my reaction to a romance in books, but this was not a romance. It was not, like, if I calculate the percentage of the actual romance in this book, I would say it's like 30%. And I think I'm being generous there. 30% of them actually spending time together building their romance, and the rest is just Alice interviewing Margaret and us finding out about the Ives family, who I just really don't give a shit about. I stand by my 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo comparison. Like, this book wishes it was the 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and it did not succeed in my opinion. This, I don't think at all that you can consider this a romance. It's not. It's whatever the 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo is. Like, half contemporary literary fiction / historical fiction. That is what this book is. Okay, so let's talk about this romance. So even though it was only 30% of this book, I didn't just dislike this book for its lack of romance. The romance itself sucked because, first of all, stomach kissing is not hot. She described their stomachs touching like at least 3 times, and I was like, why would you describe it that way? It's just not hot. Second of all, this whole romance, I'm gonna go with this here. I'm gonna call it a romance even though it's not. Like, the romance in this book, it was all on his terms, not on her. She just went along with everything. Okay, he decided when they met up. He decided when they talked to each other. He decided when they kissed. He decided when they stopped kissing. He decided what the rules were. He decided when they did or did not have sex. He decided the end date for their little fling. And she just went along with everything. Like, this girl had no agency over her life and not in the romance department. So yeah, honestly, like, I think I'm gonna riot if this wins the romance category in the Goodreads Choice Awards, because it doesn't deserve it. I know Emily Henry has won the romance category for years now, and every time I found that boring because, okay, let's have somebody else win, but at least those books I would 100% consider a romance. This is not, okay? It just isn't. Like, and the whole other plot line that was going on, I only found that interesting towards the very end. So that's why I just didn't like this book. I don't know what happened here, but it wasn't great. And I know a lot of Emily Henry's books, like, she toes the line of it actually being a romance or a literary fiction or like contemporary fiction. She is the type of romance author that does spend a lot of time outside of the romance, but this was just not. This was more than her usual stuff. Usually it's like 50-50, where yes, there's other things going on, but this like, the romance was an afterthought in this book. And in fact, the romance, no, I'm not going to say that because it might spoil it. So no, this was not, I just didn't like it. I would not recommend this. Well, I would not recommend this because I wouldn't even recommend this if you liked The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Because if you want to read a similar book to that, I think you should just reread The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, because this is not as good as that book. So I wouldn't recommend it if you love romance, and I also wouldn't recommend it if you love whatever genre The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo is. So this just didn't work for me, like, in any way. This was a lot of show then tell, because we were supposed to, I don't know, I also didn't really, so I didn't find this romance believable. I also didn't find her friendships believable. And I didn't care about these characters. Like, whenever something bad happened to them, I was like, whatever, which is obviously not what you're supposed to feel. So yeah, 2 stars. Hopefully we'll see by the time the Goodreads Choice Awards happen what will happen with this book, because I cannot believe somebody clicking on the romance category, seeing this book and voting for it. I am just happy that I'm done with this book. And now I'm gonna read a smutty monk romance in Saint. I'm very much looking forward to that because that is both smuttier and an actual romance. So yes, if you read this book, I would really love to know all your thoughts. It's okay if you loved it. Give me all your reasons why. Like, I'm genuinely interested to find out why you love this book. And also, if you loved it, would you consider it a romance? Like, once again, I'm genuinely interested for reasonings why. And I'm not being sarcastic here. I would like to have an honest conversation about that. So leave all your thoughts down below. And if you're down there, leave me a orange heart emoji. And I really hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely let me know by leaving a like if you did. And thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day and I'll talk to you later. Bye.